Welcome to a special episode of Just Below Average. We're coming to you a little early this week for our NCAA Tournament Bracket matchups and picks. We're going to go through the entire bracket until we get to a national champion. We're going to go through all this with a very special guest and Chris Jung. This episode brought to you by Way Good. Go get that original protein shake on a stick instead of the same old protein shake you've been drinking for years. Losing weight or gaining weight, Way Good is for you. All right, let's go. All right, fellas. I know we're a little early this week, but we're here to kind of go over a bracket since the bracket came out on Sunday. Figured we'd bring in Chris, who is, a great sports asset to have with knowledge and all that good stuff with background. So, Chris, if you want to introduce yourself, that'd be great.
Well, first of all, I appreciate the fact that John Calipari started a podcast this week and got Barack Obama as his first guest. And you all felt like you had to go one up him a little bit and pull me out of the bullpen to rock and roll with you on Just Below Average. So I'm honored to be on the same wavelength as President Obama. But, I'm Chris Jung. I've been playing, covering, working in sports for, 20 some odd years. I love the prep game, love the college game in particular, and have done a little bit of everything when it comes to, again, the coverage of the sports. Love the student athletes, love the storylines. And, man, you can't think of a better time of year when you talk about storylines and players and moments and games. The one thing that brings us all together, that brings America together, is the NCAA Tournament March Madness. And here we are. So I'm thrilled to be with you guys to go through this bracket, this ridiculous bracket. I think this is one of the toughest ones I've seen in a long, long time. So I think we're probably going to have some disputes and some disagreements, but that's the beauty of this thing. And I'm thrilled to be here and a part of the crew here tonight on Just Below Average.
Well, we do appreciate you being here. It's been a good start for us. This will be technically our fifth episode. It's nice to have somebody who's been at it for this long and loves looking at the matchups, loves looking at the history of it all, and I think you can bring some big insight for us here. But we'll get started. I'm going to present a screen. It's got a bracket on it. Here we go. And we'll start in the East. So UConn versus Stetson, the 1 versus the 16 seed. I obviously have UConn here. I know I've been calling them frauds since Just Below Average started, but I don't see them losing to the 16 seed. I don't think Stetson has the players to keep up with them. But that's me. That's just me.
I agree.
It would have been real cool just to start this thing off and say, Stetson, let's go.
Yeah.
Really grab people's attention.
I will be honest. I have 3 brackets, and in my third one, I have Stetson doing this upset because there's always a 1 seed that's got to lose at some point, and UConn's a fraud, so might as well let them lose in the first round.
It won't be UConn losing as the 1 seed. Stetson struggled with Austin Peay twice this year, and I'm not picking a team that struggles with Austin Peay. So UConn it is.
Correct. So we'll go. Trevor, anything?
No, I'm good with UConn.
So UConn here. This right here was it?
Yeah, Tristan Newton's the real deal too, man. I mean, they've got a ton of guys that can score, but that guy he gets it done. Is the catalyst for that offense, and they're going to be tough to beat. They got a fiery coach too. That guy isn't going to let them lose to a 16.
No, and he's looking for another national championship to try to bring UConn back into stay in the blue blood category and also try to bring the Big East back up to where it was a long time ago, like we talked about last week. So I agree. I think UConn wins that first game, but they are in a tough bracket. Well, we can get to that in a little while, but they are in a tough bracket. Next matchup in the East, the 8 FAU and 9 Northwestern. I'll be honest, it's kind of a tough one for me. I know Northwestern's lost a lot of games, but they've played pretty good recently. So what are you guys thinking here?
I'm going to have to go with FAU. They made a pretty solid run last year, and I don't think they lost very much. The only thing that I could see hurting them is if they can't shoot from the perimeter.
Right. They're a high-scoring team like Kentucky and Alabama. I mean, that's why I took them, because they average 80 points a game. And, Northwestern only gives up 69, but then I look at it and go, well, you played in the Big Ten. Like, there's not a lot of scoring there. So I took FAU here just because of the scoring aspect. I think a lot of teams in March, if they can score, they win, right?
Yeah,
and it's not like they give up 80 points a game. So
they've got the pretty good center.
Right.
He holds down the
7'1" Russian with the last name Golden. I mean, what a great combo, right?
Right.
So everybody's going FAU here?
I think you got to go FAU, but yeah, I mean, the one X factor you got to talk about, though, is the fact that their head coach is being touted as the potential replacement in Louisville. I mean, does that go and seep its way into the bench? In my opinion, these guys are pretty much pros at this point. They're probably not going to let it bother them or be thinking about it too much, but it's tough to talk about this matchup without knowing that their coach might be having conversations on the side while he's prepping for an NCAA tournament game.
Yeah, I have leaned away from FAU. So something I try to do is avoid the team that was the Cinderella of the previous year. I think their mission's kind of already accomplished. I don't really know how much more they can. And then if you check out Northwestern, you've got a guy named Boo Buie. He is a point guard, and we all know that point guards shine in this tournament. He averages 19 points, 5 assists. I think we're going to hear a lot of Boo Buie. So I've got Northwestern going to play UConn.
Okay. I don't hate it.
But, I hate this matchup. The 8-9s this year are tough.
Yeah, they are. They're really tough.
I think the 6 and 11s are also tough. I mean, there's a lot of them that you could swing either way, but it's up to y'all. I understand both sides of it. I just think FAU scoring is just going to take them over the top the first round, really. I mean, if, like Trevor said, if they hit their perimeter shots, they can't stop them, really.
You guys won 3-1. I'm outvoted. FAU advances.
I think this is going to be one of the close.
Last week, you get it.
One of the closest games in the tournament, though. I bet. I have a feeling that one's going to come down to the wire.
I agree.
And we get that. When do we get that? We get that Friday at 11:15. That's going to be awesome. That is going to be awesome.
I'm just not going to get any work done. I'm going to tell them that expect the bare minimum out of me.
Yeah.
The next few days.
March Madness employers should know, and if they don't, you should tell your employer that it's March Madness and it's a round of 64. There's games on all day, so either let me go home and watch them on my big screen, or your work computer is going to be used for a streaming service. So FAU it is for me. I think Davis said he's outvoted. So after your Joe Barrow speech last week, that's on you. So
I deserve it. I misinterpreted some stuff, but I can explain that at a later date.
This one is San Diego State versus UAB. I took the upset here. I took the 12 seed over the 5 here.
I always like the 12-5 matchups, but here I can't take this one. San Diego State, they've got stifling defense, and they always show up in the tournament.
They do.
I think their opponents score 66 points on average, and then they're averaging probably 73, 74.
Right. 74.6, yeah.
UAB puts up a lot of points, though.
Well, they only put up 3 more than San Diego State. 77.8 to 74.6, but UAB also gives up almost 10 more points than they do.
Yeah, I just think San Diego's defense pulls them through on this one. I don't think this is the 12-5 upset that you can expect. I've got that one somewhere else.
Okay. Davis?
I'm with San Diego State right here. I know I just went on a spiel about trying not to pick teams that went on a run last year, but just the conference play. And even the non-conference for UAB, you go look at it, there's a lot of Missouri Valley teams they struggled with. I don't love their schedule they played, so I'm going San Diego State.
Chris?
Can we just talk about how crazy it is that this is the 3rd game we're talking about on this bracket, and we're talking about 3 teams that were in the Final Four a year ago? Like,
right.
It's insane.
Yeah.
You kind of mentioned it with UConn got no favors, and FAU and San Diego State. Obviously, not everyone is back, but battle-tested coaches that understand what it takes to get it done. San Diego State, I think, is Jaden Lee is a stud. A lot of Mountain West hate this year, but I think that conference, it was so good, really top to bottom. And when you think about the body of work that San Diego State has, it's tough to pick against them in the first round.
All right, Davis, I guess you get your get back on me. We'll go San Diego State.
Yeah, hold that one.
Next, Auburn and Yale. I'll be honest with you. I think I have Auburn going to like the Elite Eight. I think with them winning the SEC championship, riding in on a high, they played pretty good basketball through the SEC tournament. Auburn's it for me in this game. I don't know if Yale is really going to be able to handle.
If
The
we get
Ivy
our
League,
Auburn's,
the Ivy League was kind of bad. So
Yeah. I mean,
But if we
they give
get
up 66 points a game, but Auburn averages 83. They're in that category with me with like Kentucky and Alabama that just score.
yeah. But if we get an Auburn San Diego State matchup, that over under is going to be probably 80 points.
Yeah. That's going to be a tough defensive battle right there.
Yeah.
So I don't know if anybody's got anything else, but I would say Auburn here.
I agree with you.
Yeah, Johnny Broom in the middle is a dude is legit for Moorhead, and I think he just makes them whole.
I still don't
Yeah.
like him for my years at Murray State, but I can agree with that.
I respect him. But speaking of that,
agree.
they kind of messed up the bracket. We could have literally matched him up with Moorhead.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I
I mean,
couldn't
maybe
wait
it
for that to
happens.
happen.
It could happen.
It would have. It could happen. It could happen, but I thought that's the way they would go. Honestly, is let them play each other and let him see his old team. But they like to tell us that they don't worry about storylines, right? But I think we'll find as we go throughout this thing that there are plenty of opportunities for some titillating stories that will happen throughout the tournament.
Correct. So Auburn here. This BYU Duquesne game I struggled with. I'm not gonna lie.
This one's my upset in the East.
Yeah, that I have. Is it Duquesne? Am I saying that right?
Duquesne.
Duquesne. Okay.
Yeah. You're close. Yeah.
I struggled with this one. I picked BYU in one bracket. I picked them in the other. I don't know. I feel like they're pretty. BYU scores a lot of points, but I don't feel like they play a lot of defense. It's just I know they played well through the stretch, but I don't know.
I think you've got your Cinderella story here, but hadn't their coach has been there for what 40 years or something?
Yeah.
Yep.
And they haven't been since like 96, have they? This is the first time since 96 or 99 that they've been to the tournament?
Duquesne.
Yeah.
This is the first time they've been there since 77, I think.
Okay. Yeah, I knew it's been a while since they've come in and played in the tournament. So I agree with you, though. I think this is a big Cinderella upset here.
Coach already said he's retiring after the season, no matter what. So
Yeah.
you got that play one for the Gipper rah-rah stuff going on too.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we got – is that our first upset? That is our first
I
upset.
like Duquesne there. I like it.
Yeah.
I do. I think they got a good draw there.
I went BYU. They've got 6 guys that average double figures. Duquesne does have 2 guards that they're dogs. One shoots like 95% from the free throw line, so can't get in foul trouble, especially early, or he's just going to punish you. But I just like the depth of BYU. Got a lot of dudes.
They played that VCU team, and VCU is pretty decent. I don't think that they got a good luck of the draw here, but I mean, they played some good basketball the last 4 or 5 games. So I agree. BYU's. Like I said, I have them one bracket winning. I don't have them losing the other one. So I think this is a good toss-up, but this is where an upset comes in, I believe. So good. Illinois and Morehead State. Trevor, you're the Illinois resident. Come on.
I think Illinois stays hot.
Yeah.
I think they roll. I've actually got them going pretty far.
Yeah, I do too. I think I have them a Final Four team one. I think they're really good. I think they're hot, and I don't see it stopping, to be honest.
Yeah, my dad is a lifelong Illini fan, about as diehard as it gets. I'm hoping he's going to watch this, and if he's gotten this far, he'd be pissed if I take Moorhead, especially when I'm a Murray State guy. So I think Illinois rolls. Terrence Shannon is the real deal. I think they've got the pieces to be an Elite Eight team, maybe more. Underwood has not been a great tournament coach, but man, it seems like they've got a good road, a solid team, and they've shown this year they can be, if it's all put together, they can be as good as anybody.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think they have a good bottom half of the bracket too.
Yeah.
So what were you saying, Trevor?
I was going to say I think that Terrence Shannon, he's averaging in the 20s, I believe.
Yeah, Terrence Shannon's a dog,
20
and then
I don't know.
Marcus Damask, he's a very, very cold ball player, very fundamentally sound.
He's fundamentally yeah, he's averaging
Well,
23 though.
Yeah, Damask kind of took it personally too with not getting the love from Wisconsin. I think he's used that to fuel the fire. It's been fun, really fun to watch him play. And talk about like some of the cool names we've already had. By the way, we've got Boo Booey, we've got we had Day Grant, I think from Duquesne, and now you get Dane Danger at Illinois. I mean, just a great run of NCAA tournament.
Oh, we're about to get another one.
Players.
Yeah,
we're rolling along. Yeah, I love it.
This next one right here, we get my man at Drake. You get the center. What's his name?
Tucker DeVries?
No.
Oh.
Go look up the roster. I can't think of his name. Oh, Brody. Get Brody.
Oh, yeah.
Get a Darnell Brody. Brody is a hoss. Brody looks like Brody. You'll know who Brody is when they play.
So what do y'all have here? Because I kind of struggled with this one too.
I went Drake.
I did as well because I mean the way they played in NBC play was unbelievable.
Yeah, I haven't gone against them or bet against them since that one game. I think we talked about it like on our first or second podcast. I bet against them and I made a mistake.
So Drake,
Missouri Valley was solid, and it's again when you talk about battle tested teams and playing against opponents that get you ready for this moment, Drake is as solid as they come.
Yeah, the only thing that scares me with this game, we go back to storylines. Miles Rice sat out a full year last year due to cancer, and then coming back this year, I could see that being some type of storyline. I don't like that he shoots like 27% from three, so he probably shoots what I shot my freshman year of high school. That's not ideal. But Tucker, Drake's best player, he shot 1 for 13 last year against Miami in the first round, and I think he's going to go for 30.
Yeah, but I mean, Miami was a really good defensive team last year too. So
I agree, but he's going to take that personal.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, he's going to come out and be a dog. Iowa State, South Dakota State, 2-15. Iowa State's playing really good right now. I couldn't go against them, really. I mean,
yeah.
We talk about this. We talk about this region, and UConn again done no favors. You arguably have the best 2, the best 3, and the best 4 seed in the whole thing. Teams that maybe could have played up to that next line, all in UConn's spot. Iowa State, they've played and shown, especially that Houston game, they are a machine. They play great defense. They are intense. They get after it. They are not the kind of team you want to play against in tournament style basketball. They're going to be a tough matchup every single game they play. They're not losing this opening round game, in my opinion. And I could see them very easily giving UConn or whomever sitting there in the Elite Eight a run for their money.
No, I agree. I think when they get to round of 16, it'd be tough.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was listening to KSR, and they said that if Kentucky had ended up in this bracket in the East, it would have been a pretty quick tournament for Kentucky. So I'm glad they avoided this East bracket.
That's just Matt Jones being a lawyer. Trying to make all the Kentucky fans hate Cal, but we're not going to get into that one.
This is an easy Iowa State. 1, I don't think anybody wants to pick a team called the Jackrabbits, and 2, they make it, I feel like almost every year, every other year, and they're 0-6, and every year they make it. So they haven't won a game. So
yeah,
history repeats.
Isn't that the team? Are they in the OVC?
No, whenever we had that good run, whenever we were ranked a few years back, they were like another 30-0 team. They made the tournament a couple years ago. Murray State did.
Is it them or was it North Dakota State that was in the – maybe they weren't in the OVC, but they're a mid-major school that we used to play in football, and they used to come like on homecoming for some reason and run us out of our own field.
I just went to the tailgates. I didn't stay for the game.
Yeah, that's true. We didn't need to go to the football games. All right. So I'm just going to continue to the West. North Carolina versus, I think that's Howard, or I don't know who that is.
They're playing right now.
Yes, that score is on commercial, so I don't know.
I need Howard to cover.
I have North Carolina winning no matter who they play, though.
Howard's down 13.
And that's why no one listens to me when I give them bets.
Hey, you won one last week, and now it's just time to go back to the cycle, man. You got to go back to the cycle.
Well, usually I'll go I'll hit these hot spells, but I haven't hit it. It's been rough.
Hey, that's why casinos and sports books are luxurious facilities, right? I mean, they're not building those things because we're all winning.
Yeah. They've taken a lot of my money.
So we agree here that North Carolina takes this no matter who it is.
Yeah, this is a who cares. North Carolina by 20.
Yeah. This part of the bracket right here, Mississippi State at 8, Michigan State at 9. Mississippi State is one of those teams that I think if they play like they did the game against Kentucky in the regular season, I almost think they can beat North Carolina if Hubbard is hot. But they got to beat Michigan State first. And I know Michigan State's down, but Tom Izzo's Tom Izzo. And it's almost like he's inevitable. So I have Mississippi State here. I don't have Michigan State making it out of the round of 64, but I also didn't think about Tom Izzo being inevitable when I did that. So he's like Thanos, and I feel like it's going to bite me in the ass when it comes time. I don't know what y'all think, but
so who'd you pick?
Sometimes it feels like the Spartans sometimes get it's like the equivalent of golf, and they get the sponsors exemption. Those freaking guys are in there every year, no matter what they're doing. Like it's like, here's Michigan State again, but you can you can't bet against them. Izzo is a master class of X's and O's. He understands what it takes to win at least one or two of these games during this crazy stretch of tournament. And man, it's going to be tough for me to pick against that MSU. I'm probably going Spartans here, but if I'm outvoted, I understand. But this is going to be another close one. I think we talked about this. The 8-9 games are freaking awesome. Great matchups.
Let's see. I think I picked Mississippi State in one and Michigan State in one, but like Chris said, it's hard to go against Tom Izzo. So I'd probably have to say Michigan State in this one.
So I'm on the thing, players play, coaches coach, players make the coach. Tom Izzo, Michigan State, if Michigan State fans were as smart as Kentucky fans, Tom Izzo would be out the door. This is like his 4th straight 13-loss season. I don't follow Michigan State Twitter, but all I see is Kentucky fire cow every single year. Started. So I got Mississippi State going. We're tied. It's not a coin, but I have a Washington Commander inspired change if we want to flip this to
this thing's probably going to land on its side and just stand straight up. Watch.
It probably will. All right, so we're going Mississippi State heads. The pin side is Michigan State.
MSU heads, MSU tails, right?
Correct. Michigan State wins.
Michigan State it is. I don't think it's a bad pick. I think it's just hard. Like you said, these 8-9 games are just so tough to see. And then if it's rigged like the NFL is, they're going to want a North Carolina, Michigan State in for those blue blood type scenarios, and they get that. So
I don't love the Mississippi State pick, but I think they're one of those teams, or they can get hot. Just Josh Hubbard. I tweeted this last week when they played Auburn. Close game, but he didn't have a great day. But I said Josh Hubbard can play basketball very well. He can also take dumbass shots that might as well count as turnovers. He took so many threes that came out as long rebounds and just put Auburn on a fast break. He gave up so many points just pulling stupid shots.
Hope you're ready to watch him in Lexington next year.
Well, as long as Cal – no, I'm kidding. I don't care what they do.
Malik Hall from Michigan State did say he thinks they can win the whole thing. So take that for what it's worth. So maybe we're onto something.
All right.
The coin never lies.
St. Mary's, Grand Canyon. I have Grand Canyon just because their girls' coach is kind of hot. So,
well, that's a completely different approach. I was not prepared for that. I mean, I'm gonna have to redo my notes if we're going based on those type of anecdotes.
I'm gonna have to do some quick research.
You haven't seen her?
No.
Oh my God, they want her to come to UK. All the guys.
Oh yes, I have seen her there.
Yeah, exactly.
I've seen that post.
They wanted to take the UK vacancy at the girls' side. Actually, they said if Cal gets fired, just bring her in for the men's team.
I've got St. Mary's in this one.
Tell me why, Trevor.
I'll back up my guy. I'll back him up. And I'll say this: St. Mary's leads the country in rebounding. First of all, I think that's what he would have said. And they also, when you talk about efficiency from offense and defense, you get those beautiful Ken Palm statistics and numbers that we look at and love and covet so much. They are right up there when you look at teams that can make a run. They've got great size. They return a ton. They beat San Diego State, a team that I think we're all impressed by. Mm-hmm. So they've got some stuff going on. I'm taking St. Mary's too in this one.
Tiebreaker again, Davis. Come on.
I've got Grand Canyon. Back to the player thing. They've got the best athlete on the floor. Their point guard averages 20 points a game, and he's 6'7". I like that in a tournament game.
That's pretty impressive.
And then, hell, I may even wrote this down wrong, but if I'm not mistaken, I'm not even going to say it because I probably will butcher it. I don't want to be clowned. Actually, I'm going to say it. So I've got the Grand Canyon was favored early in the year when they played South Carolina, and they also beat San Diego State, if I did not get that backwards.
Coin time.
Coin time. Okay, we've got St. Mary's, the Commanders, the Penn, Grand Canyon.
The coin of truth.
Grand Canyon advances.
Hot coaches for the win.
Hot coach.
The Lopes, baby. Let's go.
Let's go. Alabama and Charleston. Alabama's a very good scoring team. I don't think College of Charleston can keep up, but they also are a good scoring team. But I think Alabama just kind of runs away with it at that point.
Yeah. I guess if Alabama struggles, it'd be more on the defensive side, allowing how many points do they allow?
Alabama allows 81, but look at the conference they were in. And then College of Charleston allows 72, but their top two scorers average 12 points a game, while their top scorer on Alabama, Mark Sears, averages 21. But I think they're in a similar scenario where like 4 or 5 of them average like 10 to 12 points a game. So,
yeah, I
think this is going to come down to whoever can get hot from the outside. They both take a ton of freaking threes, so that's going to be something to watch. I think Kelsey's a heck of a coach in Charleston. He is going to be gone after this season. I think no matter what, he's put himself in a position to be a kind of a Power 5 type coach. But Bama's still the pick. They looked great a lot of times throughout the season, and they're going to get it done.
Correct.
Yeah, I hate my pick because if you look at the next round, I've got a 12 and a 13 seed matched up together. So I've got Charleston just because they shoot a lot of threes and they shoot it well. I think Alabama meets their match. On that particular night, I think Charleston shoots it better. But yeah, I don't love the pick, but I'm going with it. And I haven't been high on Alabama since they took the loss at home against Kentucky. I feel like they've kind of been broken since.
That's fair.
I agree, but
that's a good point.
I just think I think they played well in the SEC tournament, and I, again, think they're riding that high that they can just kind of bounce and go. So
Alabama, didn't they lose first round or their first round? Their first game?
I think they made it the second round.
I thought Florida beat them, right?
Did Florida beat them?
Uh-huh.
I'm sorry. Then I'm stupid. But still, I think Alabama wins it.
We all put weight into different things. And if you talk about quad 1 wins, Charleston only played 1 all season. That was against Florida Atlantic. Lost by, I think, 15 or 16. And I think they had 2 or 3 quad 2 games and won one of those. So, I just don't know if they've done enough to warrant an upset here against a pretty good Alabama team.
We're just crossing our fingers and hoping we get hot from 3.
That's exactly right.
All right, Chris, this is you. Clemson versus New Mexico.
My new digs in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Moved out here in December. And let me tell you, Richard Pitino has this community back in love with UNM basketball. It is vibrant. They had about 1,000 people making a tunnel, a big line to welcome the team back home from their Mountain West tournament championship a few days ago. And they are loaded. Jamal Mashburn's son is on the team. They've got a ton of depth, a lot of speed. They play really hard. You got a Patino that's thrown into the mix. I really like this New Mexico team to make a pretty substantial run. I'm definitely picking this upset. I think they are way, way underseeded. What's crazy to me, though, is they got an 11 even though they won their conference championship, the tournament championship, which means that the committee wasn't going to put them in if they didn't win it. It's unbelievable to me. I think that is just evident of the committee and the kind of the poor job they did throughout this thing. But I'm going to take the Lobos here. I think they've got a great squad. Donovan Dent and Jalen House, along with Mashburn, who I mentioned, are a heck of a trio.
Yeah, I'd take New Mexico here as well.
I did too. And I think they also took 2 of 3 against San Diego State, didn't they? And so,
I think Rothstein said it this week, though, that with Michigan State where they're at a 9 seed, you were correct that they weren't going to put these guys in no matter unless they won their conference championship and had to. But Michigan State being over teams that they have less quad ones wins than is unbelievable. And I think, like you said, it's just a brand thing. They put them in to put them in. But I think they should have been the 11 seed here, and somebody else should have taken that 9 or 8 seed that they have.
So my West region now has a 13, a 12, and an 11. I've got New Mexico as well. I like the Patino pick. I like him as coach. Think we're going to see some stuff out of him. And back to the kind of having a city around you. That it may seem like nothing, but I feel like it is something, especially as a fan. Like we got to experience John Morant at Murray State. I was in St. Louis a couple years ago whenever they had that 17-game win streak that got them into the postseason. Like whenever you got the city riding for you, it's like a high around the city. And it's just something that I think you ride that momentum. I think you'll get them at least to the second round. And also, I don't know how Clemson's a 6 seed. The ACC was down. And they were 11-9 in ACC play. Like,
I have no
Clemson's
idea.
Terrible.
Yeah.
So,
I almost feel like it's one of those small town things like we've dealt with. Like, Lexington's a big city, not compared to a lot of teams. But, I mean, Kentucky, it's a big city. But, like, Murray's such a small school. It almost feels like high school basketball sometimes. Like, you get the fans there. The bank is packed, and it brings a different energy to the town whenever they're really, really good, and you can follow that. And I think that's New Mexico right now.
I don't want to get off too much on a tangent because I know we just want to get to the matchups, but to me, it feels like the NCAA this year more than ever is just trying to screw this whole thing up. From the committee being piss poor in terms of seating and just getting it wrong in so many ways, to wanting to mess with the format and add teams and try to fix something that's not broken. And the other thing that's bothersome, you got to quit doing this transfer portal stuff the first week of the tournament. It's the biggest distraction. I don't want to hear about that crap while I'm trying to fill out a bracket or get excited about these games. The fact that we've got teams that are actively in the tournament picking up players that are transferring other schools is ridiculous. So they need to get their crap in order, and I hope 2025 is a better representation of what we want as college basketball fans.
Yeah, I hope they can start locking players in contract as well, like having payouts to transfer every single year, because that kind of gets annoying as fans, and as it does for coaching staffs too. So,
there's my soapbox moment for the night. Clip that. Clip it.
Yeah, they got to get that together. I also think they're trying to mess it up because apparently they want to expand the tournament because obviously it brings them more money, and everybody's against it. They don't. It sounds like a miserable plan, but I think that's their way of saying, oh, we'll mess it up to say, hey, well, if we had more spots, all these teams could have got in that were on the first 4 out, and they couldn't because we didn't have the spots for it. But it's just because they want more money. I think the tournament's big enough now. I don't even like the first 4 games that are be playing tonight. Like, I get why they are, but I miss the old days where it was just there's 64 teams and it's time to go. Not Wednesday and Thursday we got
I mean, it
4
takes
teams
it
playing.
takes away like the conference championships. I feel like, or the conference tournaments, they don't seem like much anymore.
I mean,
And it
Cal said it
takes-
best.
You
This
expand
tournament doesn't
more.
matter.
You expand more teams. It just takes away from it, and it takes away from truly March Madness.
Yeah.
The first 4 could have been so much cooler, by the way, if we got St. John's and Rick Pitino and
Correct.
Indiana State playing in that thing.
Yeah.
I'd be all over it. But the matchups are duds. They're duds.
Yeah.
All right. Baylor and Colgate. Tough matchup.
I have to disagree with you there. I'm going to go.
You know who I'm picking.
I've got Baylor.
Correct. I've been high on Baylor for like the last month. I think they're I know that you can't see them when they're playing their games at home when you watch it on TV, but when you can put the microscope on them and see them, they play really well.
Yeah.
At least, Davis, you don't have to watch this game at Baylor so that you can't see anything. You almost feel like you want to throw up.
Oh, I wouldn't watch it. I would just bet on it.
Nice.
So with this game, I had bet on Baylor this year. I have won some money. I bet on Colgate this year, and I've won some money. But when I bet on Colgate, I had to sweat a full 40 minutes in their conference championship game because it was ugly. They're awful. They stink. This is going to be a bloodbath. They're going to get smoked. So Baylor. Colgate's terrible.
I'm going Baylor. Like I said,
I like Baylor. They're 4-4 in their last 8 games, but if you look at the teams they've lost to, Houston, Iowa State, Texas Tech are some of the not bad opponents. If you look at some of the big time opponents Colgate has this year, they got worked by Illinois and I think whooped by Arizona too at one point. So it doesn't seem like they stand up when push comes to shove.
No, they don't. But I will say Baylor, they beat Iowa State on February the 3rd and then lost to them. And I would assume that's the conference championship there on 3/15. Yeah. And
I haven't seen the spread yet, but I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, whatever Baylor's favored by, that's a lock for me. They're going to cover it.
Yeah.
Yeah. They've always gotten me in my parlays to the right place. It's everybody else that really shits the bed for it. So
I've debated betting $10 on all the underdogs this year just to hope there's a few really big upsets. But this wouldn't be one of them I would bet on. I would skip over this one.
Well, what was the final number last year? I think it said if you bet $100 on every underdog, you won like $3,200 or something like that. So
I could use that.
Not a bad way to go about it. I'll take it.
They're going to start changing the lines because I think everybody's probably got a hold of that.
it's a bad day because I get paid Friday or Thursday too. So it's a good day for me. Extra fun.
Bad day to be a parlay slip beat us.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. All right. Dayton and Nevada, 7 versus a 10. I want to hear what y'all have first.
I've got Dayton. They shoot it pretty well.
They can shoot the lights out.
Yeah.
I've got Dayton here too. Nevada has been kind of a sexy pick the last few years. I think people have enjoyed what they've been able to do and put together. But I think Dayton's like 41% or something like that from outside, which is insane.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Yeah, had
Dayton's
a
always good
great
at shooting,
run,
though, aren't they? I think even back when I was in high school, they were a pretty decent shooting team normally. So I took Nevada.
I took Nevada.
Yeah, I took Nevada.
I like the guard matchup in this game. Deron Holmes for Dayton's awesome. Jared Lucas for Nevada's good. But I just go on the conference pick, which I know means nothing in this tournament, but that's the only reason I went
Nevada just because I watched them play, and I don't know if they should have been a 10 seed. Maybe they're in the right spot, but I think they're pretty good for this matchup. I like them in this a lot. So I guess it's coin time, Davis.
Dayton, Nevada.
Your form's getting better.
I'm convinced it's just going to be the Penn side. So Nevada, it's 3 in a row.
Good job, Davis. Hey, we got our GCU pick in there though, so that's plus. And then Arizona, Long Beach State. I don't know what to say about this one. Yeah, Arizona. And then we get to the South. what I think is going to be a fun bracket. Houston
agree.
versus Longwood. Again, it's one of those ones I say Houston, but
I agree. I've seen a lot of people say that this is the upset of the
Really?
tournament right here. Yeah. There's 3 or 4 that I've read that this is the upset, but I'm big on Houston this year, so I'm gonna ride with Houston.
yeah, man, they're pretty good. I should have
Yeah,
listened earlier in the year, but they're pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just don't know if this is the 116 upset. I don't necessarily. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I see one, but I just don't think this one's it.
I'm not familiar with the Longwood, but I am married to a woman that is 2 years older than me, so I'm a fan of Cougars. So I got Houston.
All right.
Man.
Well,
I did love the structure of that sentence. By the way, that might be a clip-worthy thing too. You're not familiar with the Longwood, but you do have a wife. So I didn't know what was going to be. I didn't know what was happening just then.
oh yeah, I was kind of confused at first too, and then you went, "I have a wife who's older," and I was like, "Okay, good."
I got it now.
Again,
Yeah,
another
Houston's winning that game.
Yeah. Another 8-9 matchup: Nebraska versus Texas A&M.
I think Nebraska could have won their first game if they got anybody but Texas A&M.
Yes.
So with that being said, I've got A&M.
I also have A&M here. I don't know. I think they're pretty even teams, though. I do think that they're even teams as far as scoring and playing defense. I think it's, I don't know what the over-under could be in here, 130-ish, but I took Texas A&M here. But that's just me.
I wanted to stay far, far away from this. If I'm not betting this game. I'm not touching this one.
No, this one won't be a good one.
Nebraska, like my heart wants to lean there, but I think Texas A&M wins. Mainly just was their point guard, Nebraska's point guard. I don't remember his name off the top of my head, but he's just one of those guys that he's going to be in one shining moment, whether they win or lose.
That's right.
So,
well, is he from? Is it Japan? They call him the Japanese Seth Curry.
yes,
Tominaga.
Yeah,
There he is.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, that's one of those guys that you feel like he gets hot the first game and then he makes it to the second weekend just because that's how it works. But man, A&M is loaded. I feel like we've used Kentucky as a measuring stick a few times already tonight, but when you look at the way A&M performed and some of the dudes they've got on that squad, Wade Taylor, Radford's really, really good.
Yeah.
They average a bunch of points. I'm going to take A&M there. I'm not betting it though either. That's a great call.
yeah. A&M just really underperformed this year to get this seed. They just didn't have the best of years, but they've got the guys.
Yeah, and I'm a big fan of Buzz Williams as well. I like him.
I like him as a coach, but he's got to quit with the 3-piece suits, man.
It looks good, man.
I don't know if it looks good. I don't know about that. If this was Peaky
They did come out
Blinders,
today. They asked all the head coaches in the tournament their favorite musician just to kind of get people's thought. His was the Doobie Brothers. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Doobies, but I thought that was a great choice. Gotta love Buzz.
We going Texas A&M here?
Yes,
I'm going A&M.
Sweep, so I might go Nebraska. Just
Here you go.
That's smart.
Wisconsin versus James Madison. This is funny, and if you listen to Barstool, this is a very funny matchup. But I picked JMU here.
I think I picked
100%.
JMU.
This is my. Yeah. Go ahead.
I think I've got JMU. I think
this is getting,
I always like
this
the
is
12
getting scary. This is 2 in a row we've agreed on. So I try to not to go off recency bias. Like obviously Wisconsin made a run.
Right.
I try to get off those. You have a week off, then you come back and play. JMU's been good all year. And then being a Washington fan, I keep up with the area. The DMV has nothing. The DMV, all their teams suck. JMU's all they have. So it's the year of JMU. Had a really good football year. a really good year in basketball. Like they're doing really well as a program. So I'm going with the Dukes. And then they're going to match up
Wisconsin
against Duke.
Wisconsin just played bad basketball through the middle of the year. I mean, it wasn't good. It wasn't pretty. They pick it back up, and I don't trust them.
I wore my Albuquerque Dukes hat just for this moment tonight. I think JMU is a great pick. That's my definite 12 over a 5. I think it's a nice opportunity to catch a Wisconsin team that has been wildly inconsistent. They took Illinois down to the wire and gave them everything they wanted, but I think James Madison's going to be very tough to beat in this game.
Correct. Duke, Vermont.
I mean, we got to have the Dukes versus Duke, right?
You have to. You've got to set that one up. That's a storyline.
Yeah,
we know how this works.
Vermont's always an interesting team. I feel like the last few years it's been you see Vermont.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I mean, it's almost like a sleeper team that you kind of don't want to see if you're Duke, but like you can beat them. But it's like if we do not play our best game or come out flat-footed, this could turn ugly pretty quick.
Yeah.
So Murray State played Bradley. Murray State beat Bradley. Vermont played Bradley, and they lost to Bradley. I got Duke. That's my measuring stick.
Yeah, I think Vermont's only beat one team that's in this tournament, and it was Yale. And obviously, I don't think we're thinking that Yale's beating down the door for us. So
no,
that doesn't do much for me.
Yeah. So Duke it is there.
Yeah.
Texas Tech, NC State.
It's a good one, but again, Texas Tech is one of those that defensively they're solid.
I like Texas Tech here.
My pick is Texas Tech.
It's one of those things, like you said earlier. I think if NC State got any other draw here, I think they, out of the 11 seed to 6, I think they could win it. I just don't think they can beat Texas Tech.
I agree.
I'm taking Tech here, and here's why. And maybe this is the wrong reason, but NC State, some people are like, well, they're getting hot at the right time. They had a great run in that ACC tournament, which was fantastic. But when you have now a week off and that kind of dissipates, it feels like all of their emotional bandwidth was used to win that thing, and it feels like they're going to come out flat. It has all the makings for them showing up and not being ready to go exactly for that reason.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think their momentum's gone from that. Like they'd used all their momentum to get there, and then it's like, oh, well, now what do we do, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I've got the exact same note. I've got Texas Tech, NC State, great run. The Magic's over. They're going to be sweating out a lot of liquor and probably cheeseburgers, especially DJ Burns. He will also be on one shining moment, whether they win or lose. So, yeah, that's like the recency bias. I try to get away from that. Conference tournament winners, try to avoid them to an extent, just because you have a week off, that momentum's going to die.
I agree. Then we got UK versus Oakland, 3 and 14 seed. I picked UK here, but I will say this. If they do not guard the 3, this is an upset in the first round because Oakland has one, I think, the best three-point shooter in Division I basketball.
The most makes of anybody in the tournament.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, he's hot, and I think Kentucky defends the 3 well. I think we struggle defending the pick and roll and the drive, which is very it's funny to me because that's what we do to teams is we drive and get to the basket. That's the dribble drive was Cal's thing. But I think Kentucky can handle business here as long as that team that comes out that plays defense is there.
I agree. Go Cats.
Go Cats.
I think Ken Pom had this as the biggest point spread that has the highest chance of being overcome by Oakland. But man, there is, and you all know this better than anybody right now, there is no coach fighting for their lives more than John Calipari this weekend. Yeah. If he finds a way to drop this game, all hell is going to break loose in Lexington. And there's no way that he is going to let these guys let this one slip away. Not after last year, not after everything that is emotionally, mentally on the line. It is going to be interesting to see if he decides to get over his 6-man stuff and just play the best lineups or not.
Yeah,
I did see a
I
thing
think
from his
Kentucky
radio.
gets it done.
I saw a thing from his radio conference where he had said, we do need to play the best coming out because we have it coming out strong. So I think Reed starts on what is this, Friday?
Yeah,
Thursday.
Yes.
Yeah, Friday. I think he starts on Friday. I think Rob still comes off the bench for this one, but
it's Thursday.
It's Thursday.
Oh, is it Thursday?
Oh, it is the 21st. Sorry, I was looking at the bottom one here. I think Rob still comes off the bench because it goes back to what I was saying when Knapp was on, is he's got to have somebody there to run that second unit, because no matter how you think basketball works, there's always substitutions that have to come in for the second team, and that's Rob or Reed or both. So he's got to have somebody for that second unit, because I don't know who else your point guard is going to be unless you start Rob and put DJ Wagner on the bench. But as Trevor said, you've got a 5-star coming out, and you need him to start. And DJ's not bad. He's good. But I think Rob does really well coming off the bench regardless, because to me, it doesn't matter. It's who's playing the most minutes regardless, who finishes the half and who finishes the game. And that's who's been finishing the halves and finishing the game. So,
yeah, I've got Kentucky. It's a get-right game. Cal's legacy. It's a legacy game.
You got to figure out how to adjust against that 2-3 zone. It's going to be interesting when Oakland tries to slow it down, and Kentucky obviously wants to score 100. So something's got to give.
Yeah, something. And I think, honestly, if they're going to run away with it, they need to do it and do it quick. And I liked how they picked up pressure on Texas A&M at the end. I think it helped them. The problem is they didn't fit on the back end. They looked great at the front end, but when the ball's being taken out and they can trap in the corner, but as soon as it got past half court, it's like, oh, well, we're going to sit here and not do anything. So, again, one of those things is a get-right game. Let them do it. Let's get to Texas Tech or NC State after that, and let's get to the Sweet 16 so that our fellow radio host can stop talking trash about him to try to get him fired. But we won't get into it. This is a game, Florida versus – is this Boise State and Colorado State?
Yeah.
Yeah,
just Colorado on this one.
Colorado.
Is this Colorado here?
Yeah, I think Colorado State's in a play-in.
Yeah, they're
Where's
down there,
Colorado
Virginia.
Oh, they're playing Virginia. Yeah. Okay, that's the one I go to. Florida here is who I have.
Yeah, Florida looks pretty good. They did have a pretty solid injury.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was gruesome. That was the Kevin Ware esque injury that was just awful.
Yeah, that's tough to watch.
Yeah.
I'll rewind.
He's a difference maker.
Clearly hear it.
It's terrible. He's a difference maker. Maybe in the next round, I think Florida still gets it done. No matter who they play.
Yeah, I picked Florida simply because I've got Drake, the 10 seed, advancing, and Nevada, the 10 seed, advancing. So I can't have all of them advance. So I want Florida.
Florida.
Boise State. The only thing I'll say about them is back to that kind of Mountain West mentality. I watched that reaction they had when they got put up on the screen as the first floor, and you could tell they were not happy. So they might be playing with a little bit of a chip, but I still think Florida gets it done.
Marquette versus Western Kentucky. I have seen people pick Western Kentucky here, which is surprising to me.
I'm going to shout out Chandler Campbell. He told me to go ahead and place my bet as a tops roll throughout this tournament. But I'm going to have to upset him and go with Marquette. Oh, yeah, throughout. He's already got it. He's got it planned out.
Oh, wow. All right. Well, I have Marquette here. I'm sorry to Western Kentucky. I know you're a home state team, but I have Marquette here. I think again, another team I've been high on this year is Marquette, and I think they take care of business here.
Would love to take the in-state team also, but I think Kolek's going to be back on the floor for the first time in a month. That dude is legit, and if he is healthy and he gets rolling, Marquette has a chance to make a pretty deep run themselves. I watched Western a little bit. Played attention, obviously, to CUSA this year with Kiki Tandy and Jacksonville State and some of those teams. And there was just never really any consistency throughout any of those matchups this season. I don't know what the difference was, but it just feels like Western doesn't have the firepower to hang, especially if you're getting Marquette's premier point guard back and healthy on the floor.
Man, they lost Dudu, lost all that all that shot blocking and firepower.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I've got Marquette. I won't ever pick Western Kentucky. I'm a racer.
Amen.
Move to the Midwest here. I got Purdue in this first one.
Purdue redemption tour. They ain't gonna win any or lose in
I don't know if it's redemption
game.
tour, but I got Purdue here.
Same.
Yeah,
I think that's a pretty easy one.
Yep.
So here's what I'll say about Purdue. Well, I'll just say this because I know we don't want to spend too much time on this one, but Purdue was right behind Kentucky and needing to turn things around. But here's something that's interesting to me. Virginia a few years ago became the first team to lose to a 16, came back and won it the next year. Purdue coming off a 16 loss.
Yeah.
Everybody believes that this is their chance to get it done with Edey and that crew, and obviously he won't be back. Purdue is a team to watch. I think that they're going to be scary for a lot of folks they play.
I agree.
Redemption tour.
Another 8-9 seed, Utah State versus TCU. I don't know a lot about these two teams, really. I believe I took Utah State here just by looking at stats that they've had over the past few weeks and things like that. So
I also took Utah State, but TCU has a couple good wins. They beat Houston and they beat Baylor.
And Oklahoma when they were ranked at the 9.
Yeah. But, I mean, they've split them. So.
But see, I'm looking here and it says Houston, they won on January 13th, 68-67. They play them in, I'm assuming this is the tournament, and they lose 60-45. They lose to BYU by almost 20 or by 22. They lose to Baylor. They know they beat them, and they lose to them by 15. I mean, or 20, 18, somewhere in there. I just like Utah State here. I don't know.
It's the epitome of a toss-up, and you talk about two programs that have struggled mightily in the NCAA tournament. I think TCU's lost 9 or 10 straight games in March Madness. Utah State hasn't won a tournament game since like 22 years, something like that. So it's like, man, just roll it out there and let's see who wants it more. It might be the biggest coin flip for me of any of the 8-9 games. I'm leaning TCU, but I'll go with the crowd on this one. Whatever you guys think.
You know what I think we should do, Davis?
We can split it because I've got TCU just based off Mountain West versus Big 12, and then the Big 12 wins they have.
Let's flip the coin for this one.
Actually, we're gonna do Safari flip the coin because that thing's trash. Flip a coin. All right, so we're gonna go
heads Utah State.
Yes, heads Utah State. Tails TCU. We're flipping. You can't see that. It's tails again.
TCU.
Tails is 4-0.
Frogs.
5 Gonzaga, 12 McNeese. I took McNeese here. Will Wade revenge tour.
You can only have one 12-5 upset. So I took
Gonzaga.
We're about the analytic. I like it, Trev.
You took Gonzaga, Trev?
Yeah.
Okay. Davis?
I've got the Zags, man. 8 straight Sweet 16s. They're automatically going to the Sweet 16. I think a lot of people are kind of looking at them like, hey, upset alert. That's where Gonzaga wants to be. They've been on the top for so long, haven't performed. They're back where they need to be. So I like them moving on. And Will Wade's looking for his next job. He's got one foot out the door.
See, I have him beating Gonzaga and then beating Samford, who beat Kansas in the next round.
And McNeese, the best team they beat this year, I think, was Michigan.
Hey, it's a good team. All right.
They
beat UAB, who's in the tournament.
Well, we got them getting
TCU.
waxed, too.
Well, all right.
Yeah.
Chris, what do you got?
This one was tough. I took McNeese. I think the fact that they create turnovers on 24% of possessions is solid. I think this is the Gonzaga obviously has been a kind of like Michigan State, a long-standing tradition in the tournament, and have done a great job. But this just feels like a perfect place for them to get picked off. I think Wade is playing for a bigger job, obviously, and nothing would increase that contract more than to get this done against the Zags. So I'm taking McNeese.
Was that a split?
That's a split again, baby.
Can you pull up another tab and then you can go flip a coin so we can see it?
I don't know if you can see it though.
I think you can only share one screen at a time.
Yeah, I can only share one screen, but I can do this. I can.
I mean, I don't know. I can't get to
hang on.
focus.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Hang on. Let me. Oh, why is that? Coin flip online. It brought up a.
Just type in flip a coin.
No, I got it here. Don't you come at me like that. Here we go. You know, see that?
Yeah.
So who do we have? We got
Head Zag,
Gonzaga.
Nice.
Hills. Okay.
Ooh, that's fun.
Dang.
The Zags survive in advance.
Zag
Survive in advance.
Kansas 4, Samford 13. Frauds. That's all I'm going to say. Frauds, Samford.
Yeah, but you still got Bill Self.
They did announce
don't like
today
Hunter
that McCullers missing the whole tournament for Kansas. 19 points a game.
That's true.
7 rebounds. Self just said it like 2 hours ago that he's out. I think Dickinson will be limited. This is probably the trendiest, sexiest upset pick of the whole first round, in my opinion. It's people love to hate Kansas anyway, but man, it feels like they are just primed to get knocked off in this first round.
Yeah. I took Samford.
I got Kansas.
Boo.
Oh, boy.
Fraud.
I don't like either team. And then knowing that he's out, Kansas having injuries, that makes it even worse. I've got Kansas simply because the nation's going to pick Samford. This is going to be one of those, the sexiest upset. I think Kansas is going to win.
I'm flipping a coin again.
I'm taking Samford, yeah. So here's a stat that's interesting while the coin is flipped. So Kansas ranks 210th in the country in three-point defense. Samford, 8th best three-point shooting team in the country. So if they can get hot, you never know.
Will the coin listen because it's tails for Samford?
Let's go.
South
I
Carolina.
can't wait for you guys. I can't wait for you guys to clip that after Kansas wins by 30. You'll tag me big bold letters.
Every pick you get wrong, we're going to clip it.
Oh, yeah.
6 South Carolina, 11 Oregon.
South Carolina, Big Meat.
South Carolina, yeah, that's who I have. Oregon
I don't know
lost to
much
the
about-
Crimson
I don't
Tide
know.
by 8.
I don't know much about
Utah-
Oregon, honestly.
Yeah,
They're not terrible.
I mean, they lost to Alabama by 8 points, Utah by 3. Arizona lost to them twice in a row, once by 9, the next by 20. Lost to Colorado by 4, beat Utah by 1, beat Arizona by 8, and then beat Colorado by 7. I took South Carolina here.
Yeah, I've got South Carolina as well.
Yeah.
They were 12-4 in road games and neutral sites. I think only 3 teams, Houston, UConn, and Purdue, are better. This might be the most boring matchup so far in the first round. I mean, they're evenly matched. There's not a lot of pizzazz from either side, which means this will probably end up being the best game of the tournament. But
Yeah.
I think South Carolina wins it.
Yeah.
I'm going on the record. I just changed my pick. I had Oregon. Only
And the
because
JBA bracket challenge you
I've
changed
pretty
it?
much been. Wait, yeah, I don't know what this is. This may be it. I may have to resubmit. But I picked all the SEC teams, and I think it's just, I mean, some are going to get beat. Just how it goes. So I'm going back to Oregon, but y'all can have South Carolina.
Okay.
But if South Carolina wins, there's a real path for them to make it deep.
Yeah.
Well, I think they lose to who I have picked this next round, number 3 Creighton versus 14 Akron. I think Creighton takes it.
Yeah.
I'm big
Okay,
on the
great.
Big East this year. I think the Big East is kind of back. I just think that they're the old Big East that we used to watch with like D Wade at Marquette, and it feels like the old Big East, and I kind of love it.
My notes: Creighton is good. Akron is not that good. Creighton.
So
That's as straightforward as it gets right there.
great.
Keep it simple, stupid.
John
Texas.
Gross, the Akron coach, I think he's pretty dang good. He obviously was at Illinois. He got Ohio University to the tournament a few years ago, but Creighton's too much.
Yeah. Texas versus Virginia or Colorado State. This is where I was going to say earlier. I think Colorado State is a team that can. Are they playing right now? No, they play. They playing right now?
They play tonight.
They play
Yeah,
tonight. The second game, right?
They should tip off here momentarily. Actually,
I think Colorado State wins tonight and then beats Texas.
I've got.
First of all, it's criminal that Virginia's in this tournament. It's it makes me want to throw out this matchup altogether.
Mm-hmm.
But I agree. I think Colorado State wins handily tonight. I would hate, from a storyline approach, to think that we're going to be denied the Rick Barnes
Return
versus Texas matchup.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty darn fun to me. But
yeah.
I don't have any strong feelings either way. I'm probably leaning Texas, but Colorado State. You always have one of those first 4 teams that manages to get hot, and that is an advantage to play that game early and to kind of get the jitters out. And then they're playing excited and with all the momentum come Thursday or Friday. So I'm probably going to lean Texas, but that one could be interesting.
I've got Texas, but I really want to pick Virginia because they've got the chance to give the biggest middle finger to literally the whole nation.
How dare you, Mage? How dare you?
So I'm going Texas, but I really want it to be Virginia. And I've already got 2 10 seeds winning. I can't pick 3. So Texas.
So if you want Texas, I assume.
Me?
Yeah.
No, I went Colorado State.
Attaboy. Attaboy. But
The
I
coin.
agree with Chris. Okay, so we got heads, Texas, tails. We're going to say Colorado State. We have got tails, baby. Colorado State. And then by far, somebody else who could have the funniest matchup and the funniest thing ever to happen, Tennessee 2, St. Peter's 15. It could be the funniest thing in the entire world for St. Peter's to pull this upset off. At a 15 seed again, just coming through and pulling out the upset.
As great as that would be, I just don't think that happens.
Yeah. They don't have Doug the Man anymore.
Defoe's gone.
Yeah, they just don't have that.
I mean, but how impressive that they're back, right? I mean, just
awesome.
Those few things you mentioned, it's incredible. That's a great story.
No way they weren't supposed to make it. I don't think they were even supposed to be close to this, and then they won outright their conference championship, and they get in, which is awesome.
Right?
Yeah. 2 years ago today, they beat Murray State, and I was in attendance, and I remember going to the bathroom, a good old bathroom conversation with a Peacocks fan. And he was pretty much telling me how essentially compared to every other school, they were kind of poverty. And then seeing literally the 15 fans that they had 15 fans, but they also had an extra 18,000 fans that were in the arena. That could be scary for Tennessee, but I don't know.
Also
Ball fan travels.
Gym, don't they?
Yes, it's sad.
Yeah. I mean, Fulton might
be. But yeah, Tennessee fans were a part of that Murray State game. They were there. They lost the game prior. Michigan upset them. Yeah, I've got Tennessee. If St. Peter's wins, though, I think they automatically need to be put in SEC.
I agree.
They'll be back in the one shining moment too, baby. Be perfect. Okay, so that's round of 64. Round of 32. We start back in the East. UConn versus FAU.
UConn.
Frauds.
Hashtag frauds, right?
Frauds. I will say this. I know they played in different conferences, but when I did my bracket, I was looking at this thing too to prepare for this. FAU outscored UConn this year by a whole point, literally. They gave up 9 more points than UConn did, but they did score more points than them this year per game.
I think UConn just stays hot.
Yeah, I do have UConn here. I have UConn winning here, but it would be it wouldn't be wild to see them get upset here, I don't think.
I've got Northwestern in this game, but either team, it's a trap game for UConn, in my opinion. I think they get by it, but both matchups are not – you don't want to see Boo Booey or an experienced FAU team.
Mm-hmm.
And again, this goes back to this bracket is tough, and it does UConn no favors because once they get to the next round between these two teams that we have, it's not any easier. So,
no.
Yeah, I mean, look at that East pod right there. That could very easily be an Elite Eight. I mean, that's a stacked region.
Mm-hmm.
Holy cow!
Yeah. San Diego State and Auburn. Another fun one. A 5 versus a 4. I think they were very similar too. Points per game for their opponents was by 2 points, but Auburn just scores more. I took Auburn here because I like them here. They're just hot in there. I mean, they're Bruce Pearl here.
I took San Diego State.
Chris? I'm
on Auburn. I think the Bruce Pearl effect is enough to push them over the Aztecs. And, this honestly might be one of my most anticipated matchups of the whole tournament because I do believe they're going to play each other. And this one could be a lot of fun. But I think Auburn gets it done.
It'll be a half point spread, and the over under is 82.5.
Yep.
This is another matchup I don't really like, but I would stay away from it on the sports book. I'm going to if it comes to this, but I've got Auburn simply because I want to see Janai Broome go against the best team in the country and see kind of showcase what he actually is. So
perfect. Sorry, Trevor.
It's all right.
If you're right, though, at least you get to hold that over our heads. That's all that matters.
Clips.
100%.
I just won't bet on it, and it'll hit.
Duquesne and Illinois. I have Illinois here.
Fighting Illini.
That's right.
Yeah. Illini cruise here, I think.
Yeah. I agree.
Well, since I've got BYU, they wouldn't cruise. I've got BYU with the upset. I'm not going with conference tournaments. I don't care about it. The recency bias is gone. I know I just did picking Auburn, but I'm really excited for my next matchup that I have. Anyway, y'all can have Illinois.
Then Drake, Iowa State. I think Iowa State takes this one.
I've got Iowa State as well.
Yeah.
I think those are 2 games. Those are pretty easy.
Yeah, just Iowa State's defense is unreal. I mean, if they can defend even at 3/4 of what they normally do, I think they can beat them just because of how good they are defensively.
So my matchup is BYU and Drake. Who would not want to see that game? Recency bias gone. I don't want to deal with all the conference tournament winners. Stupid pick. Like Iowa State's obviously one of the best teams in this tournament, but BYU and Drake, that would be so much fun.
Yeah. We might get it. I mean, like I said, this bracket's tough. So then you got North Carolina at Michigan State. That's what we have here. I think North Carolina's hot, and I still think they run through this. I had them winning against whoever they would have, or Mississippi State here too.
I've got. Well, I had North Carolina losing this game to Mississippi State.
Right.
I'm right there with you, Trev.
Yeah. I think if North Carolina gets a tough game, I think they fold. But like you said, I mean, they are hot. But
yeah,
I think they're the most vulnerable 1 seed, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah,
I completely agree with that.
Because it depends on how they come out and play.
from a name alone matchup, this like brings me back to like my childhood of March Madness, right? North Carolina, Michigan State. It's like the good old days.
Yeah.
Man, I really, really want to pick Michigan State here, but I think North Carolina probably has the edge.
I agree. So we want North Carolina here.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
As much as
think
I
it's
hate
very-
as a Kentucky
Re-
fan,
It sounds like reluctantly.
Yeah,
just from a Kentucky standpoint.
I think if they're playing Mississippi State, it's a different story.
Yeah. I have I think in one bracket I have North Carolina, the other one I have Mississippi State, just because I don't know what that's a tough matchup for them. So
Yeah. I just want a 1 seed to lose in the second round. First weekend, a 1 seed's got to be kicked out, and I've got North Carolina being them.
Grand Canyon versus Alabama. I took Bama here.
Yeah, Bama rolls.
Yeah.
I've got Grand Canyon beating Charleston.
Is this your loser bracket that you put in the podcast?
No,
bracket?
this is my. I really did some studying.
Oh wow! All right. If you're
Really
right at this, it's gonna be.
There's a lot of practical thinking behind this,
And I'm not sending you a prize. I'm going to give it to the second place person if it's not one of us.
I just think they've got the best player. They've got a really good athlete in their point guard.
Hey, I'm tailing everything you said. I'm on board. I'm digging it. I'm making notes as you're going along.
Well, my notes aren't very good. They're not very factual.
They have a lot of feeling to them.
They
Yeah,
have a lot of
It sounds good.
feeling in how I've been hurt in the past.
Oh, so Alabama here.
yeah.
I think Bama wins easily
Yeah.
if that's the matchup.
Here's a good matchup though: New Mexico versus Baylor. 3-11. I don't know.
I'm rolling with the Bears.
Yeah, I took Baylor here,
Baylor just they look.
but this
They
could
look
be
really good.
this could be one of the best games of the round of 32. Honestly, and we're not
100%.
watching it from the rafters, so I mean, you can't.
Do
get
we
much
know
better
where
than
this
that.
game is played?
I can look.
Because I might change my pick if we're near New Mexico.
Does that factor into it?
Well, it doesn't really matter because Baylor's down there with y'all. So
Men's tournament schedule. What are they in? Are they in the West? Round of 60 or round of 32?
but I've got the Bears.
It'll be. I think it'll be in. Where do they play?
Why does it not tell me where? That doesn't make any sense. It tells me where the first four are, but here we
They're
go.
playing in Memphis.
Are
I
they?
might have to go see this game.
Well, so I was about to say that I worked this weekend in Stanton, which is like 30 minutes outside of Memphis. And Friday night, when I get down there, I'm supposed to get down there at like 7. Houston plays Longwood in the first round on Friday night at 8:30. So I might just say check into my hotel and keep going down and go watch the Houston game if I can.
Yeah, I have no reasoning behind this. I've just got Baylor.
Yeah, I have Baylor too. But New Mexico, I think, could pull this out.
I'm going full Lobos here. I know I'm outvoted, which is fine, but I think New Mexico gets it done. They're legit.
Davis, remind us to clip this for if they win, then we can look like idiots.
Oh, well, I really wanted to go with New Mexico too, just because of how the city is apparently, because it means something.
Yeah,
It means more.
It just means
it
more.
means more.
All right. Nevada, Arizona. I took Arizona here.
Arizona.
God, my bracket's so bad.
It's bad.
I've got a 1 and a 2 seed losing here. We got
Oh man.
Nevada going into the next round. Let's see.
Man,
Do I have notes?
you gotta love the Tuesday evening. My bracket is so bad. That just makes me so happy.
Yeah.
My notes. Arizona has to have that dog in them after the first round exit last year. Oh, wait. Hold on. I didn't. Okay. No, I've got Arizona. I just
All right.
marked it wrong. Sorry.
All right.
Now, here's a question. Here's a question though. Did you spell it D-O-G or D-A-W-G?
DAWG.
There you go.
Okay, then they're going to win.
Yeah.
If that's the case, if that dog comes out, they're winning.
Yeah.
And then I've got Houston, Texas A&M. I got Houston here. I don't think Texas
Houston.
A&M keeps up.
No.
And then a funny one, James Madison at Duke. I have the 12 over the 4 James Madison.
I've got the Dukes.
Which one?
The Dukes. Not the Dukies, but I've got the Dukes.
I got Duke.
Who do you have, Chris?
I'm on JMU.
Sorry, Trev.
Sorry.
JMU to the Sweet 16, baby. Let's go.
I really think they're underrated as a 12 seed.
Yeah,
extremely underrated. It's insane.
Yeah. Texas Tech, Kentucky. I put Kentucky here. Go Cats.
I'm always big on Texas Tech.
Yeah.
If you can't tell, Texas Tech, San Diego State, those are my staples, but I have to go with the Cats.
And honestly, the more we talk about it, I think Kentucky is going to just rout Oakland. And once they do that, they're just going to go on a roll.
They're going to feel good. Kind of like when they went on that 5-game win streak. They're going to feel really good. So
yeah, them coming off a loss may be the most dangerous thing for these, especially the first weekend teams. They've got to make it out of this first weekend. This is Cal's legacy on the line. So
that's why I don't hate losing in the tournament, in the conference tournament, because I always feel like you need a loss.
You need that skunk loss to get you through is what you need, and that's it. You don't want it in this tournament. You won the tournament before. So, Florida Marquette.
Here's my question though: if Cal somehow doesn't survive the opening weekend, what's the end result?
I think he stays because his buyout's too much.
He's got a lifetime contract. He's good.
I would agree with you, Trevor, but his buyout's too much, and then the hype behind this 2025 class is unreal.
Yeah, but
But you lose.
But what you had this year, I think this next team
is going to be 10 times better offensively.
We say that every year.
I don't. I can tell you the last time. This is my favorite team over the last 5 to 6 years.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't say who is going to replace him or if it's a good decision, bad decision.
It's not because there's nobody to replace him.
That's not. There's people out there, but who's going to want the job?
Correct.
Rick Pitino.
No. God, no. If you lose Cal this year, you lose the next 2 years of recruiting classes, and you don't make it back from it. I'm a firm believer in that because they can open their recruitment back up, and they're gone.
I mean, all we're fighting for right now is first-round exits.
I mean, we're going to see this year. I mean, we will see, but
it'll be interesting to see.
My thing is with the loss to St. Peter's. St. Peter's went on to beat Murray and get into the Sweet 16. I mean, that's a miracle run that happened to you. It happened with Lehigh with Duke.
Yeah, but you have to think about it over the course of multiple years rather than a Cinderella.
I also think his teams have just been bad. The players have sucked. Coaches coach, players play. I think the players in the past 5-6 years have been trash.
All right, I wasn't going to get on this, but everybody bitched and moaned about him not having enough veterans on a team and upperclassmen on a team to come in and lead the guys. They were tired of the one-and-dones. I'm tired of running new teams every year, yada, yada, yada. He goes out and does exactly what they say, and they suck. And then they get mad because they suck because they don't have that freshman dog talent of some kid that says, I want to go get my shot. I want to get my teammates involved, and I have to play to get to the NBA draft. So he didn't get that. He gets all these veteran guys that are 5th and 6th years that, are playing to get ready to go get married, and everybody got pissed that they weren't good. Well, now he goes back to it, and everybody forgets that there's growing pains with that. Not Trey. I do that every time with Trey Edwards. Justin Edwards did it. He didn't play worth a damn the first 15 games of the season, and then he finally turns it on. Everybody's like, well, why was he doing that? Well, it's the dude just came from high school to college. He doesn't have any experience under his belt. That's the problem, is everybody has these high expectations for freshmen when there's going to be growing pains. Everybody in November, we're losing games, and they're like, this team sucks. Dude, it's November. Let's chill out.
Yeah. I think it just comes down to seeing results. And my problem with Cal is you watch the games and his lack of adjustments. There's not a ton of adjustments made, against the zone. There's minor things here and there, but overall, he rolled into the SEC tournament with the same thing, the same rotation that he's had for the majority of the season, and we've seen where that's fallen short.
Look at the last 5 games of the regular season; they won all of them.
Yeah, but I mean, they
my
were
thing
hot.
is with a zone, and I have experience with this at Hoptown. Somebody threw a zone at us. We did not make an adjustment. It was attack the zone and get to the rim, and they're going to come out of it because they can't.
The zone,
you start shooting threes.
Yeah, you got to shoot yourself out of it.
But I agree. I think he's going to make an adjustment here on whatever it is Thursday. I think he makes the adjustment to Reed or Rob or both into the starting lineup. We start better. We beat the shit out of Oakland, and then you keep rolling from there.
Yeah.
So Florida Marquette. I have Marquette.
Marquette.
I used to say when I was a kid. You know?
I actually went Florida.
Was that
Probably
before or
shouldn't,
after the dude got hurt?
Oh, we got to play for him. You know what Louisville did when Kevin Ware went down?
And they got that title stripped from him because of strippers and drugs.
You can't ever strip a title.
Right.
Easy now.
Allegedly.
Purdue and TCU. I took Purdue
rolls.
Purdue
Gonzaga,
Redemption Tour.
Gonzaga, Samford. I took Samford. That's just me.
Gonzaga.
Here we go.
I've got the Zags over Kansas. They're always going to make it to the Sweet 16.
They're always
analytics.
16. Chris,
I'm in for the Zags in this matchup. I think Samford pulls the upset, but then this favors Gonzaga much better than it does that first round.
I could agree. 6 South Carolina, Creighton 3. I took Creighton.
They'll slow it down.
Yeah.
I've got Creighton over Oregon, and even if I had Creighton, South Carolina, I'd go with Creighton. But I do think that is a game South Carolina can end up potentially seeing Tennessee. Then obviously, I think they can match up with Tennessee. So being familiar, but I got Creighton. Didn't matter.
Yep, give me the Jays. You know, I think that they we probably haven't really talked about Creighton enough, but man, they always seem to be there.
Yeah,
and I know there was some hype for them at the beginning of the season and last year. It feels like they could be sneaky this time around, but I think they win this game.
Yeah,
and then I had Tennessee rolling Colorado State here.
Yeah. Same here.
Perfect.
Rick Barnes to the Sweet 16.
Finally. Oh, he hadn't made it Elite Eight. Sorry. Back up top to the East, UConn and Auburn. I'm going to give it to you right now. I have Auburn.
I got UConn.
The Huskies.
Y'all are going to be.
Can we agree though that the Sweet 16 games are the bee's knees, the cat's pajamas? I mean, this is like what I look forward to the most. Is this string of games?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, this is going to be the best part. Illinois, Iowa State. I took Illinois here.
Man,
fight Illini.
It's going to be a very good game though if this happens.
So
we're
good.
continuing there. Wait, you're going into the Elite Eight?
No, I'm in Sweet 16 right now. Yeah, going to the Elite Eight.
Oh, probably because I didn't pick
either one of those teams.
Yeah, probably. So I've got Drake BYU. I forgot about that. And I've got Drake. God. I've got Drake going advancing.
So out of Illinois and Iowa State, who would you pick?
Iowa State, based off conference.
Chris.
ILL, baby.
Well, yeah. Illinois. Drake and BYU? Is that what you said?
I told you that's the matchup I wanted to see.
Okay. Down to the West, North Carolina, Alabama. I have Bama beating North Carolina. Strictly because I don't think North Carolina will match up well with Alabama.
I've got Mississippi State beating Grand Canyon.
He's doing his own bracket show.
Yeah. I don't know. This is tough. I mean, just at first look, I'd have to go North Carolina. I think
I would go North Carolina. Like I said, I don't love Alabama.
yeah.
Chris?
I don't know that Alabama could get hot.
Can live by the 3 and you can die by it.
We may have to go to the coin because I wanted North Carolina. I think what you said earlier is correct about them being the most vulnerable one. I think Michigan State in that second round game can take them down. I think if they make it, they definitely go down here to whomever they're playing. And in this case, it's Bama. They're losing.
So heads North Carolina, tails Bama. So loud in my ear.
So you had an opportunity there to do heads Carolina, right? Little Jody Messina action.
And the result is going to be tails Alabama.
That's not the
rigged.
song.
And then Baylor, Arizona. I took Baylor here.
Baylor.
Chris?
I'm in on Bears too.
Bears are good. South, Houston versus JMU. This is where JMU's miracle run comes to an end for me, and Houston beats them.
Pumpkin time.
Yes, sad for the DMV, but Houston beats them.
Kentucky versus Marquette, the 2-3.
Go Cats.
I took the Cats here. I can see this is going to be a tough one, though, but I can see Marquette winning, but I took Kentucky here just from offensive standpoint alone.
I saw a stat and then I lost it. But Kentucky Marquette is apparently top 5 all time for most NCAA tournament matchups. Which I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah. I've got Kentucky, Florida in this, but I've got Kentucky winning. Even if it was Marquette, I'm going Kentucky. I think this is going to be payback for Dwayne Wade's triple-double. I grew up a D. Wade fan, but I think it's time to pay him back for it.
So Kentucky it is.
I like the Cats here also.
Cats it is. Midwest, Purdue, Gonzaga. I have Purdue.
Purdue.
We got the Zags.
Boilermakers.
Boilermakers it is.
I think they're in their prime, just being a 5 seed. Purdue. I don't love. I know they're on the redemption tour, but I don't love them. Zach Edey's good, but I feel like sometimes whenever they are pressured, they're just forcing the ball down to him, and they're easy to stop. They get very one-dimensional sometimes.
Well, when we get back to the Elite Eight, I'll give you my take on that. Because Creighton, Tennessee, I struggled with this one. I put Tennessee in one, Creighton in the other. If I had to lean, I would go Creighton.
Tennessee just doesn't have much depth.
No, but then I think about Dalton Connect, and I'm like, oh, he's good. I forgot.
But again, really Creighton can slow you down.
Oh, I know. But really and truly, I mean, Tennessee holds their opponents to 2+ points a game, too. So, and then they do. It's 69-67. Yeah. But so we have how many for Creighton?
I told Austin Knapp that I was going to put Tennessee in the Final Four. So I've got Tennessee advancing.
I love Austin Knapp, but I'm not going to do that.
You guys are about to see what I've got cooking.
I've been seeing it, and it doesn't look good.
I just wouldn't put any money on that bracket that you've got.
Yeah.
Well,
so
I like the Blue Jays here. I like the Blue Jays here. They beat UConn by 19 not too long ago, and they got some swagger.
Yeah,
I like the Blue Jays in the sports book.
Bill last week that you can't be trusted at this point.
You guys will see when you guys owe me a JBA box.
Yeah, you ain't getting it. East Elite Eight. I have got Illinois taking down UConn.
I do too.
Ooh.
That's who I've got.
I've got UConn beating Drake. I've got UConn beating whoever's in that matchup.
Do you want my reasoning? Fraud. Okay. Chris, you're the tiebreaker here.
Man, it's going to break my dad's heart, and I'd love to go Illini here because, man, that'd be awfully fun to see. But I think UConn just got too much.
So we're flipping a coin here. Heads UConn, tails Illinois. Heads it is. Damn. Still fraud. Coin doesn't know. The coin does not know.
Didn't care about the other ones.
Alabama at 4, Baylor at 3 coming out of the West. I put Baylor here.
We've got all 3 seeds, all the 3 seeds
know.
left.
1-3, 4-3, 1-3. I think the 3 seeds are good though. I think that's saying a lot.
I have all in my bracket. I have 3 of them left in the Final Four.
So out of Alabama, Baylor, who we taking?
Bears.
I've got the Bears over Mississippi State. So,
Chris,
Baylor. I think this is the game Scott Drew puts his stamp on college basketball and becomes an elite coach in the game. He's already on his way there, but I think they reach this point, which we're predicting them to do. That dude is catapulted into the next stratosphere.
I really think they're going to hang a Final Four banner. We got to get some more banners in the rafters because we've got to cover up that camera angle. We've got to build a new platform.
South, Houston and Kentucky. I'm very conflicted here. I want to take Kentucky because they score so many points, but Houston's defense is unreal good.
Their defense is good and they're fast.
But
this is heartbreaking for me, but in one bracket I've got Cats winning, and then other bracket I've got Houston winning. So
I've got Kentucky winning here. That's what I'm gonna go with.
I've got Houston winning. This is where
they fall out.
I'm not too upset with this exit for the Cats, but this is where it happens. If it does.
Chris?
Give me Houston.
Davis?
All right. So my notes, I think Kentucky plays just a smidge of defense in this game. I think their offense, they perform. I think they play well. I think the Cats roll because Houston tried to copy the logo. These logos are way too damn close.
That is true.
So I don't think that sits well with Kentucky.
No. Can't be out here copywriting stuff. All right.
Cats roll.
But, man, you talked about it earlier, though, in terms of adjustments. And Sampson has proven that he is a coach that will do what he's got to do in the locker room, on the bench to change it up on the fly. And I think if some big moments down the stretch are relying or hinging on the defense on either side, I think he has the advantage there all day long.
So we 2-2 right here?
Yeah.
Did I hear that right? So heads Houston, tails Kentucky.
We should have had Chloe as our ceremonial
We
coin
should
flip.
have, yeah. I'm gonna share the screen on this one, so y'all ain't think I'm lying. All right.
There it is.
Cougars.
Yeah,
Kentucky, I have you winning it all.
I'm not even happy to take that.
Yeah. And then Purdue, Creighton. I have Creighton coming out of this.
This will be a pretty good matchup.
Yeah, this will be a good game.
But I'm still – I think this is where Creighton ends too. I'm going to go with Purdue.
Chris?
This is a tough one. I've got this matchup pretty much across the board. I think Creighton wins the game.
Davis?
Well, if I was picking this game – good.
No, I think you get 1-3s in both sides of the Final Four.
So I've got Tennessee and the Zags. I've got Tennessee in an all-time matchup in the Final Four against Kentucky. That's how my bracket goes. We got cheated out of that at the SEC tournament. We're going to get it in the Final Four, all-time matchup. But if I had to pick this game, I'm going with Creighton. Like I said, I don't like Purdue. They can get really one-dimensional. I think you can shut them down.
All right. East-West Final Four matchup is UConn and Baylor. I have Baylor. I technically had Illinois, but
I don't want to see UConn in there, so I'm going with Baylor.
They're not much different. I have Baylor.
I like that.
Chris, go Bears or no?
If this is our Final Four, UConn's repeating, in my opinion. And I would take UConn here. I just think if this is the two matchups they get, they're going to get it done. It could go either way, but I think the Huskies win this game. But I know that's not the
Fraught.
the feelings of the group.
Fraught.
That is my feelings. I've actually got this game in my bracket, and I've got UConn winning it.
So we're 2 for 2.
Mm-hmm.
Coin flip time. UConn on heads, Baylor on tails.
I've got UConn going back-to-back against Tennessee.
Heads it is. UConn goes. And then Houston-Creighton. I think this is where Creighton fell off for me against Kentucky. But so I'll take Houston to run it since I think Houston's better than Creighton too.
Houston.
Is that a unanimous or no?
Yeah,
Unanimous.
I'm on Houston, and I think the theme of this tournament is going to come down to the defensive schemes, and defense is going to be talked about probably to the point of nauseating levels. But man, they do it right. They play great D, and that's what you got to be doing this time of year to be in this position.
Ooh,
I love that. I love that matchup in the final.
Yeah, I think
Potential
Houston takes
Baylor
it there
Houston
from there
matchup.
too. I think Houston beats UConn. If we have this scenario, I think Houston beats UConn here just because of pure defensive
I do too.
strength. I mean, they're really good defensively.
I'm gonna
Davis,
go
I
with
don't even want to know who you have in the final.
I've got UConn, Tennessee.
Who you taking out of UConn and Houston?
UConn.
Are we making the national championship? It's going to be a coin flip.
Coin flip.
I think we have to at this point. It's played too much of a role for us to not have this.
So who's
be the
on
final
heads
moment.
since they're both 1 seeds? Who do we want on heads?
UConn
Overall one
heads.
is UConn.
UConn heads.
This one's best 2 of 3. We need a live stream best 2 of 3.
Love it.
That's cheating.
No. You got to make it fair. Let me refresh this so there ain't no weird stuff. Oh, okay. All right. First one is UConn.
Oh my gosh.
UConn 1-0.
Next one.
This
Well,
is a
that was
shame.
UConn takes it.
Confetti, baby. Confetti.
UConn takes
Coin
the
flip and
confetti.
confetti.
And the over-under in points, I'm going to put it 130. I think that sounds about right.
That is a good looking logo, I will say.
Okay. Well,
Not bad. I think. Listen, boys, that is it's an impossible task. A, picking it, but B, getting people on the same page. It's the beauty of the tournament, beauty of the bracket. That's why on the first day we'll have 20 million people that submit one on ESPN, and 1% of those people will be left. It's you never know, and that's why we play the games, and that's why it's the best time of year. But I don't think we were off at all. I think if UConn plays Houston, it wouldn't surprise me one bit.
No. Davis, I'd do some reconfiguring on yours.
yeah, you got some
Before you
stuff to
submit
work
that.
out, man.
I'm going to hold my receipts.
You'll be doing the clipping, so have fun. Chris, we really appreciate you being on. This was fun. I enjoy doing this with you, especially with the basketball knowledge like you have. It's awesome to hear, and just there's stuff that I learned tonight that I didn't know before. So we really do appreciate you being on.
Yep.
It was also really good to see you this weekend, but I'm glad we got together and we're able to make this happen.
Yep.
You too, buddy. And you guys are doing a hell of a job. Keep it up. I look forward to coming back on JBA 55 and hitting some more of those milestones with you guys. But I think what you're doing is a lot of fun. Just stay consistent with it. That's what I told Brian this weekend, is keep doing it. Keep being yourselves. Keep having a good time. It's infectious, and I think you guys have a great thing going. So I'm honored to be a part of it, and I look forward to all of my positive clips that show that every single pick that I had was right tonight.
Thank
All
you.
right.
We're only posting the wrong ones. We're not posting
Yeah.
the right ones.
Like we
Understood.
do with Davis.
Understood.
Anybody got anything else?
That's it.
We appreciate everybody joining us. This is our bracket. Make sure if you don't have your picks in yet or think you might have messed up, this is a good way to fix it, especially with the prominent coin flip that we did. Again, this episode is brought to you by Way Good. Way Good is that original protein shake on a stick, so Davis doesn't have to do that milk mile, even though he'll probably still do it no matter if he makes a six-pack or not. We'll see you on Friday. We appreciate you listening. As always, peace.
Peace.
Left hand up.